Hi there, welcome to the Perfume Experience. My name is Rodney and today I'm bringing you a comparison video. So we are back again with another comparison video after some time, and I'm talking about one of my favorite fragrances called Black Orchid from the house of Tom Ford. Now this is a beautiful fragrance to talk about, and on that note, let's get started. Tom Ford's Black Orchid was launched in the year 2006. It was created by David Appel and Pierre Negrin. Now this can be described as an amber floral kind of a fragrance, but I would say that this is a dark, dense, masculine kind of a fragrance, and a fragrance that will resonate with you in terms of gourmand notes. Now this particular fragrance has got some fabulous notes. It's got a lot of stuff. Like the first thing that you would notice is gardenia, you would notice you'd notice chocolate, and you would also notice things like truffle. Now along with that, you also have things like a lot of citrus elements like bergamot, and you have a lot of fruity notes like yang and some floral notes. But at the base you have amber, sandalwood, but the most predominant being Mexican chocolate, truffle and gardenia being present in the top note and the mid note, making this one of a kind of a fragrance where when you first whiff it on, you will actually smell like a very nice truffle kind of a very appealing, very talky, that kind of a smell. And then it will linger on towards this amber sandalwood note all throughout, along with those lot of fruity notes in between, a little bit of those citrus notes and this floral notes. I have a decant here and I'll put this on again just to get that smell. Now the moment you put it on, it gives you that nice blast of that truffle with that chocolate. Now for me, this is a kind of a fragrance that got me hooked from the first time I smelled it, and I've always been a fond of this particular fragrance. So there was always a lookout to figure out if there was a perfect oil for this. Now for me, this is a fragrance that talks complexity, talks the kind of fragrance world is created where you have this complexity of notes, where you have an amalgamation of notes that will create something wonderful. This is one of those fragrances that is truly a masterpiece in my opinion. And I think this is a perfect evening wear for any occasion, be it parties, be it some kind of a wedding, be it something that you want to wear which is very distinct and completely different from anybody else. This is one of those line of fragrances called Black Orchid from Tom Ford. Now in terms of its presentation, it comes in a nice black color bottle, but then in terms of its longevity, I think it will easily give you about 6 to 8 hours easy and projects about good 2 to 3 hours. Now this is a kind of fragrance that when you put it on, it will talk like volumes of that velvet feeling that you get, that dark complex masculinity that you get with this particular fragrance, where there is a sweet element, there is an amber element, there is a spicy element, there is vetiver in this, there is sandalwood, but they're all there hidden. They're not like very predominant players, but that kind of a gourmand thing, that flavor, that beauty of this particular fragrance makes it a wonderful fragrance for somebody who loves complex fragrances. For somebody who is a fragrance enthusiast, I think this is something that you will absolutely love. So you should definitely try this kind of a fragrance, Tom Ford Black Orchid. There are other orchid fragrances in this line as well. There is the Velvet Orchid, then there is Black Orchid Perfume, then there are a couple of more in this line, but I think this line really is beautiful. I do want to try the Velvet one also, but this is a masterpiece in my opinion. We'll talk more about this when we talk about our alts and compare it and try and figure out if there is really a true good alt for this particular fragrance. Now to talk about our alts, so basically it's very difficult to find alts of Black Orchid in the Indian market. So I found one from Toxic Male. Okay, so this is from the house of Toxic Male, and then I found one from Muzna Fragrances. They had a Black Orchid sample as well, so I got this. Then of course I have the most popular one from the Middle East world, which is your Ard Al Zafran's Midnight Oud. Okay, so this was one of them that I got, and when I did travel to Morocco, I was able to get this, but then since this is not accessible, I'm not keeping this in the test, but this is a fab alt as well. Now when I talk about the scent profile of our alts now, so Muzna, Midnight Oud and then Toxic Male, I would say that Muzna is nice in terms of when it opens, it is okay. So is Toxic Male, it is also okay. You get that whiff of the floral notes. Muzna leans a lot towards the mid notes, and doesn't really have that truffle opening that you get along with the chocolate that doesn't appeal here. I don't know what toxic male has been trying to create calling Black Orchid. This is definitely missing in terms of scent profile. Okay, now the only one that I really found which is very close to the OG in terms of how it smells is actually Midnight Oud. This one really, in terms of the way it opens, it captures that essence of Black Orchid in terms of the truffle, the chocolate, the amber, those floral notes, all of them. It kind of gets that right at the opening. Very, very beautifully done, and it projects very well. Now, Muznas, though it doesn't capture the opening notes very well, but it captures the base notes pretty well. And when it dries down after an hour or so, the dry down that you get is very good in terms of Muzna. It is pretty decently very close to the OG. Now, in my opinion, the best example of the scent profile I would say goes definitely to Midnight Oud, because that opening is where that entire essence of this particular fragrance is. A little like Tuxedo, when we talk about the heart note, saying that the heart note is where the essence is. Like this, I think in Black Orchid, it's in the top note where you have that truffle with that chocolate, with that orchid note, and that amber, sandalwood, all of that coming to that creates one beautiful bubble, which is what I think the Midnight Oud has been able to capture it very well. And in terms of performance also, this has been good compared to all of the performance of all the oils. If I were to keep this toxic male is about 4.5 hours time, I would say even same thing with Muznas as well. This is a little longer. This you will easily get about 6 hours. Okay, and it captures that essence very well. So on apparel, I was able to even smell it the next day as well, easily about 14-16 hours easy. So you put it on your apparel, it definitely lasts long. So that way, scent profile and performance, Midnight was really good. Now when I think about value for money, Midnight Oud 100 ml comes at about $12.49, so definitely more value for money than anything. This is the most costliest piece of fragrance that I found, where I think the 20 ml comes to close to about 600 rupees is what they asked. So I got a deal where I think I got about 620 ml for about 1600 rupees. But if you were to buy this individually, 50 ml I think costs about 900 rupees or 1100 rupees roughly. I think 1100 rupees, and 100 ml comes at about 1600 rupees if I'm not wrong. Muznas comes I think about 800 rupees, 850 is where their 50 ml should be. So I think still this is okay. Okay, not a bad idea. Now in terms of presentation, definitely Midnight Oud comes in a much nicer bottle, very beautiful, good looking bottle, and a good presentation. This has got some artwork, so this goes too, right? So that is how I would say cover my oils, so to say. But the very core essence of this particular fragrance is in its performance and in the scent profile, and that definitely goes to Midnight Oud. So my pick for Black Orchid is very, very easy. I don't really have to worry about which is closer or not. There is only one close competition, which is Midnight Oud from the house of Ard Al Zafran, which is a fab deal or fab alt of Tom Ford's Black Orchid. This, in my opinion, the one that I got from Morocco, is a very, very good performance, and scent profile is very, very good on this as well. But just that it's not accessible for you to buy it here is why I'm keeping this out. But otherwise, this would win it hands down. But with the options that we have, I would definitely recommend you to try Midnight Oud from the house of Ard Al Zafran. Fabulous buy at 1200 rupees for 100 ml. Very close to the Tom Ford Black Orchid scent, and captures that essence very beautifully. So in the next week, I want to bring in Tux versus Kismet as well, and against Tuxedo, so we can try that out and see how that works. But this has been my very short review or comparison review for Black Orchid from Tom Ford, and this is a beautiful buy that you can definitely consider, which is Midnight Oud from the house of Ard Al Zafran. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. Your like and your subscription makes a huge difference to the motivation that I get in terms of making more videos. On that note, take care. Bye now.